Hi, everyone. This is Toby and
Ryan, hello.
at Cuttle, and this is our live stream. This is our second one. We'll be doing this every week, though next Thursday we're going to take that one off for Thanksgiving, but we'll be back the Thursday following, which I don't know the date of, but two weeks from today.
We'll let you know. And there'll also be like a YouTube link. So
there will be a YouTube link. Cool. So yeah, I think this week we have a bunch of projects from the community to share and some projects that we're working on. Hey there. Hey Kay.
Some updates on a project that we showed last week.
Yeah. So let's or maybe we'll start with that. So last week we showed this cool jigsaw puzzle that Ryan's been working on, and we're planning on releasing it officially in about a week. And Federico is working on a video showing how to do all of the printing and gluing, and we've been working on the template, and I think we're planning on posting this in the beta testing channel on the Discord. So yeah, we'll post that later today, and if you want to try it and give us feedback, you should do that. But basically, you configure your the puzzle. There's now this bleed parameter, which is about when you print your picture, you want there to be a little bit of extra, so that when you cut it out, it'll you don't have to worry about making your alignment absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So there's steps in there now, and so we'll share this on the Discord in the beta testing channel.
So yeah, if you have the time, try it out and let us know what you think, and if there's any places where it could be improved. Especially we're trying to make the instructions really easy to follow, and
yeah, so. I think Federico is going to do a really good job on it. He's always good at explaining all the things. Projects from the community, we wanted to highlight these really cool lanterns made by Cuttle user Glowland, and they were saying that they use Cuttle to parameterize these sort of outer shapes, and then these other shapes are more hand illustrated, and they look great when they're lit up. They've got some LEDs inside. I imagine they're color changing. I just imagine in my head that it's like a slow fade, which is my favorite LED mode, is the rainbow slow fade, especially with multiple colors, so that you get different colors in different parts of it. And I believe they were also saying that they're using something to diffuse the light, which is also important. I think there's a conversation going on about that. Vellum is what we think is being used, which is like a tracing paper. Yeah, that stuff is great, and this is beautiful work. And yeah, I hope we have more LED lantern projects in the future. I feel like it's a good use for a laser cutter.
Yeah, I really like this kind of. This feels like a kind of. It's like almost. It's very kind of an extension of the project that we showed last week with the LED box.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like how they used the parametric sort of qualities of Cuttle to make the initial box, and then they did some really sort of looks very hand done kind of illustration in the center, and I think that's kind of one of the strengths of Cuttle is combining those two things.
Yeah, definitely. That was something that when we were making Cuttle, a lot of the CAD programs like Fusion 360 or Rhino are super powerful, but they didn't have great support for when you wanted an artistic hand touch to them, and we're trying to have the hand touch that you can get in programs like Illustrator, but then have the parametric capabilities of those fancier CAD packages. Anyhow, yeah, these are awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
And moving on. So Eric Steele continues to make the Glowvember challenge. So every day, Eric has been posting a Cuttle project, and we wanted to show two of them that we really liked this week. So the first one is this Christmas snowflake ornament. And the cool thing about it is that you can change these parameters. So for example, this angle, you can change the angle of these fingers and how long they are.
Well, that actually kind of works when you go super far like that.
And there's also a hole on top that you can use for hanging them up. And yeah, this is great. And seasonal, we need to be better about seasonal projects over here, I think, and especially getting ahead of the season, because it's like Halloween happens, we're like, oh, we should do a Halloween project, and it's like, well, Halloween's like tomorrow, so we're gonna get better at that. So that's also like why we want to get this the puzzle generator out for Thanksgiving break, so that like if you have time over Thanksgiving break for playing with your Glowforge or your laser cutter, maybe you can make your friends or family a personalized jigsaw puzzle, which I think would be a really good gift.
Mm-hmm. I think I might be making one.
Yeah, I think so too.
So can you go back to the snowflake project?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to it's interesting the way that he's parameterized the number of arms here, and it's sort of like, so it's a select box, but it's like being used with a number, which is kind of a cool way to do it, like, because we don't have, you can have a number, but then you can't really sort of
there's no limits on it, so
yeah,
you like, so this can, ooh, I like the negative. So since there are no limits on it, you get into these pathological cases, which can also be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, I like these.
I think that's kind of like part of the reason why we've left the limits, or why we haven't.
I think we just haven't gotten around to it.
Well,
but,
yes,
yeah.
But at the same time, like I kind of like being able to break things sometimes, like just kind of go just beyond the limits sometimes. But sometimes you do actually want to enforce, like, okay, this only works with like 2, 3, or 4 things. So maybe this is a good way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very creative use of the select box parameter type. Yeah, and you can do that using these. Where is it? You go here, and then you can say parameter type, and then you can change it. So it can be like a number, or it can be a select box, and then you can choose the options
1, 2, 3
on it. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. The other Eric Steele project this week that we really liked, or that I really liked, was this one, because it is it has this nice. Oops. It has this nice assembly feature where, so this is the crossbar. Let me show so here it is assembled. We cut one out of MDF because we wanted to just sort of understand how it's put together and point out the tusks.
Mm-hmm. So these little things here, you can kind of, maybe if I take
one out. Yeah, do you want to take one out?
It'll be more obvious. So they get kind of wedged in there, which I think is the point. So these are the little
tiny tusks.
And then these kind of like, they fit into.
So then you can disassemble the whole thing, because.
Yeah, let me actually show that. So I think if I take out the one on the back, and
they're pretty tiny tusks.
Yeah, very tiny. So
okay,
so
now
I'm taking those
them out,
and there's nothing there, and I can just pull this piece off. And if I put them at the right distance, then we can get the camera to focus. So then this just slides on, and you put it like right in the center there, and then these tusks kind of like fit they just kind of wedge into this hole.
So this is
put it in there, and
nice
then
because you don't have to get your measurements totally precise because the tusk has a little bit of an angle on it. So like
mhm.
this angle here uh, keeps it so that you can put it in and there's some tolerance on it. And then the other nice thing is that you can take them apart. You can disassemble it, and there is a fun discussion on the Glowforge forum about all these. So like this is, I guess, a tusk tenon from 500 years ago. And somebody else on the Glowforge forum was saying that they used this technique also for like furniture at SCA, Society for Creative Anachronism festivals. And so you want to be able to flat pack your furniture for transporting and then be able to assemble it and disassemble it every year. So it's a nice example of this technique. So I thought it was great to see some new techniques, and I'm looking forward to like using that in some of my projects.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about this is that it's disassemblable, but then when you go to reassemble it, like over time the material is going to wear a little bit, and because this is sort of like a wedge shape like this, it kind of gives the material a little bit of room to wear. So you can kind of like over time this tusk will kind of like poke further and further in to the material as it wears off a little bit. So it gives it a little bit of flexibility in you can kind of like tighten it up even after the material's worn.
That makes sense. Yeah, because oftentimes I'll find like my finger joints won't fit together as well. They'll get looser over time, and
Mm-hmm.
like because the material sort of expands and contracts, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's neat. That's a
Yeah,
cool feature
very
also.
solid joint.
Brian Wente shared this splatter painter modifier, which I guess is this is something that's sort of in Illustrator, I guess. I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
think they have
something
like a sort of a spray paint brush or something where you can sort of or maybe it's like an art brush where you apply a stroke and then it kind of like it randomly scatters the things.
So the cool thing about it is that you basically can sort of configure. So this is just a path, and then the splatters just trace along the path that you've drawn, and so it's the spray brush, and Brian used a custom modifier to do that, writing some code here. And then this was also a modification of another custom modifier. I think did you make the original like repeat along path?
Yeah,
or?
it might have been or it might have been. It's actually in the scripting reference.
It's an example.
Like, yeah, it's like it's in the example. So that might have been where he pulled it from. I think working with paths, and then it shows how to build up repeat along path. So
Right. This was the repeat along path code, and then it's showing how to do that at a uniform distance. And then I believe that Ryan took that code and then added a little bit of randomness to make the sizing of the splatters different on each one, and then also made some fun examples. So it's like hearts along a path, stars.
yeah, that one really shows the splatter sort of.
Yeah. I see. I think there's a bunch of different parameters
Oh, okay, yeah.
for like how they change. Can change like how big or small the random pieces are. some grass segments.
Yeah, these are really good examples.
Yeah. And then this one's my favorite. I think that one's fun. Like, really seems like a good poster for the Central Florida Zoo. Makes me want to go to that exhibit.
So yeah, where can people find this if they want to use it in their
Well, we'll leave a link in the description below.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, this was originally shared, I think, on the Discord. So yeah, I think it was shared by Brian on the Discord. So this is sort of like, this is our like chat room. So join us here and you can see what people are sharing and share things yourself. And you can become famous by being on our live stream. Yeah, because we love to see what everyone's making, and it's super inspiring for us to see things that we wouldn't have thought to make, and people are just doing it. Yeah. I guess maybe the last thing, I'll show some of this stuff. So I just wanted to share a project that I was sort of noodling on. This.
Can we switch?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. All right. So I really like. So two things that I really like. One thing is origami, and another thing is construction kits. So like as a kid, I was always either like playing with origami or playing with Legos, basically. And so I've been playing with this design for these pieces that fit together. So the idea is that they have. I'm going to show it on. I think this. So, yeah, they have these tabs, and then they have these slots, and so you take it and you fit a tab into a slot, and then you fit a tab on the other side into a slot, and then it locks really well, and I did probably I don't know, 20 or 30 iterations on this, just to try to get I'm really particular about the action of how the tabs fit into the slots. So yeah, there are a bunch of earlier prototypes where sometimes the tab was centered, but other this was an original one, was just having the grip on one side versus on the other side, and how the slot ends up. So I've been trying a bunch of these, and I think I finally hit on a really nice design for it. They just fit together really well, and you can quickly build up different polyhedra out of them. So these are all just using triangles, but you can also make them with other shapes, and then they fit together, and then you can play with the different polyhedra, which I feel is a pretty, I don't know, I make a lot of geometric art, and being able to just assemble these and have them in my hands is a useful way to get familiar with these shapes that just exist in math in the universe. They're, so these are called the Euclidean solids. The Euclidean solids are when you take, you're allowed to use regular shapes, so all the sides and angles need to be the same. So this is a regular triangle because all the sides are the same and all the angles are the same. Squares are allowed, or pentagons, as long as they're all the same regular polygons. Putting those together, you end up with the what what did I called them? I should have called platonic solids. That's right. So the platonic solids, and then there's the tetrahedron, which is 4 triangles. Then there's the octahedron, which is 8 triangles. Icosahedron is 20 triangles. You can't do any more than this because if you had 6 triangles together, it would just be flat. Like if you started putting,
and then it wouldn't close at all.
Yeah,
just be
it would just tile infinitely the plane if you had 6 triangles. I don't know if that's possible. If you can see that. And then so that's with the triangles. But then if you're using like squares, then you can make a cube. And if you're using pentagons, you can make a dodecahedron, which is like 12 pentagons. I don't have an example here. And then that's it. So that's all the platonic solids, which are the solids that you can make constrained by you're only allowed to use the same
one regular polygon.
Yeah. And then if you're allowed to use multiple regular polygons, you can do something like this. So this is using regular pentagons and regular triangles. And then this is called the Archimedean solids. And they're like, I don't know, 60 or something different ones you can do like this. So there are all these different like classes of shapes that you could study or look up on Wikipedia about these different geometric shapes. And then I think it's really important if you're using these like in your art practice to be able to like actually hold them in your hands and look at them and then
draw on them.
Yeah, you could draw things on them and or like the Glowland examples, for example, like those lanterns, like you can use these as the basis for lantern shapes, right? So if I scaled this up and like added some cutout designs on it, put lights inside. Yeah, I mean, we do it, you know, because we've been doing this together for a while. So we make a lot of shapes that are inspired by these sort of basic shapes.
So like, I just want to look at like the way that you've parameterized this a little bit. So like, basically you can have any number of sides, but then you're saying that basically you kind of run out of shapes that you can
but only if you're constrained by these constraints that like you could have a 7-sided shape and then like have squares coming off of them and then another 7-sided shape and that's called like a 7-sided prism. And that's a shape.
Yeah, so you can, I guess you can go kind of crazy. Like you have one.
You can definitely go crazy.
Don't you have one that's like a little like?
You're talking like this was like sort of a prototype. So I just made a bunch of triangles and like you can just keep expanding out with them. And that you can see this was actually an old model because it didn't have the slot together thing. And so it was really hard when you were doing the last one to get it in there. So I really like this new click lock style. So I learned this. I found a book on packaging design, and they were talking about the click lock, which is something that's out of cardstock.
That's like this sort of like flap where
along with the mating
the wings
side
here.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then there are also these lines are like perforations. So I've been cutting these on my Cricut. I'm sure you could also cut them on a laser. I don't cut cardstock on my laser because I have a Cricut and it's already right over there, so I don't go downstairs for the laser for that stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can make it out of different things. Yeah, I have a lot of fun playing with cardstock, and I will also show. So the way that this was constructed.
This is kind of similar to the press fit box kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So I made it so that you can make these of any size, and they'll be that size. And yeah, I guess this is.
So if somebody really wanted to, they could come in here and they could make sort of some shapes that are not regular polygons.
Yes.
They could make like.
And I'm planning on playing with that too.
some other types of like the Cuttle on solids or something
Yeah.
like, that we used
Mhm.
for sun seeds.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that so I can play with them. Like the pentagonal hexacontahedron, or like I don't know. If you look at on Wikipedia, like there's all these really cool shapes.
Well, maybe we'll like do another like have like another update for this one.
Yeah, I sort of want to
some
do a
point.
series about it. I'm looking at the chat. So Jersey Mike says that would be great for paper gift boxes. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with paper gift boxes. I want to have more templates for out of paper also, I think, like, and or cardstock, I guess. So then we can get more people from like the Cricut and Silhouette community involved. And it's just like, it's great. You do want to be able to parameterize your cardstock gift boxes because you want it to be different sizes.
Yeah, totally.
And then I also see Ralph Undis is offering me his extra packaging design books. Yeah, I could take you up on that. Thank you. All right. Well, I think that's what we've got going for today. So thanks everyone for joining us for the second live stream.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I guess that's it. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
And have a good Thanksgiving if you're in the United States.
Oh yeah.
Or celebrating it
enjoy the holiday weekend, and yeah.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.